Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to The Explorer. I want to thank you all for watching and we welcome you again to another exciting episode. Let me ask this question across the region. Why African leaders continue to elevate and respect Donald Trump? What have you seen in Mr. Trump that you give yourself, you become a menu in each of these particular meetings that African leaders who leave the entire continent travel to the United States of America to be embarrassed, to be disgraced publicly. What is really going on that the continent leaders abandon their important activities and fly to the United States of America always to be embarrassed publicly? I think this is bringing the continent to a level where we are losing the steam as a region because you continue to see Donald Trump as a leader that can provide you what you don't have. This is the same man who doesn't respect you. He got no respect in his own particular environment. Why do you continue to elevate him? Donald Trump have no particular respect across the geopolitical spectrum. It's only African leaders who continue to elevate Donald Trump at a level that he would like. Look at what he's done. He is basically told the continent of Africa where he belongs and where he stands on a number of issues. It's only leaders in the continent who do not understand where Mr. Trump is standing. He's basically said he don't care about the continent and he cannot. What makes you feel? A man who does not have regard and respect for the continent. He's called the continent of Africa with an S-hole continent. Countries in the region, and you continue to elevate him. Asian leaders don't give Donald Trump the respect that he's looking for. European leaders don't see eye in eye with Donald Trump. Russians, Chinese. It's only African leaders who continue to elevate this man. This is a man who questioned the president of a nation like Liberia. He questioned his level of English. Liberia that started speaking English even before you watching this video was born, and you downgrade, you disrespect him in the global media, and you make him look like a fool in the White House. What kind of an embarrassment is this? And I saw the president of the country of Gabon, who is an amateur in the global environment, to where they make American great again. This is disgraceful. You're putting yourself in a situation where you cannot negotiate. Donald Trump is a transactional leader and it's only African presidents who continue to embarrass the continent of Africa's diaspora and those back in the continent of Africa and wherever they may be, African diplomats, African consultants, African politicians, African geostrategic commentators around the world. Your move, your interaction with Mr. Trump is embarrassing. You better call it off because Donald Trump got no respect for the continent of Africa and the leaders in particular. He's not going to bring the peace that you are looking for in a conflict where he has no idea. This is the same president who said, I am going to bring peace in Ukraine within 24 hours. He speaks on both sides of his mouth. His action globally, talking about things which he has no clue about. But you fly to the White House and you're panicking. You can't speak. In the continent of Africa, you are giants. You can rule your nations. You can give orders. You can execute things. You can talk very freely. But once you are inside the plane and you land the United States of America, you start panicking like children. The Europeans are laughing at you. The Russians are laughing at you. The Turks are laughing at your behavior. Look how Donald Trump treated the country of South Africa. Push them back and forth. If the South Africans were not smart enough, irrespective of your position with the country of South Africa, the South Africans have told Mr. Trump over and over where he stands. Because this man is not a leader that African countries should be respecting because he's called you a shithole nations. And it's clear. Donald Trump basically said Lesotho is not known. Nobody's heard about it. These are condescending behavior and attitude that African leaders cannot live with it, and the continent in particular. In the 21st century, leaders talk about the country of Liberia. Liberian history is tied to the United States of America, and he's pushed Egypt back and forth, and you go to the United States and sit there and you are talking like babies, you are talking like children, you are being treated with a manner in which you degrade your nationals, your citizens. And he's put you in a particular box. And which nation in this world, which country will allow a president who condescendingly communicates and look at Africa as if they are irrelevant in a whole lot of geopolitical spectrum? Donald Trump does not deserve the respect you guys are pushing. Considering that the African Growth and Opportunity Act, the only trade agreement that the continent of Africa, sub-Saharan regions, would have conduct business with the United States of America to an extent. I've talked about the AGOA here over and over. It's on life support. There is no guarantee, according to experts, that this will be renewed. It's the same Donald Trump who is going to kill the African Growth and Opportunity Act. You continue to hail him. It's the same Donald Trump who basically lambasts the continent of Africa with trade tariffs. He's pushing you guys. He's basically destroying your economies, and you are laughing with him, and you are sitting there in front of the global media, and you are making a mockery and a fool of yourself, and making African nationals become laughingstock in the global community. Look at his interaction with the countries across the European Union. They are facing each other, and look at Mr. Trump's communications. This is a leader who feels that he can treat the continent of Africa in the way that he feels it's okay. He's got no iota of respect and coordination and collaboration in your particular interaction with him. I wonder why you go to the United States of America each time you meet this leader. Look how he wanted to treat the president of South Africa openly. He disgracefully submerged the president of Ukraine. That's not a business of the continent of Africa. But I think if South Africa was not ready, if South Africa was not ready to stand up to the United States of America's leader, Mr. Donald Trump, he would have disgraced the country of South Africa, and South Africa today would not be what we all knew this country. Because if you come in and start saying that they're doing some bad things, and you're saying that there's genocide going on in the country, which is a lie, and I see leaders going to the United States and feeling so free and interact. What are you going to come on from this meeting? If South Africans were not able to go back to the drawing board, pick up themselves and say they are one nation, they want to move forward irrespective of their differences. Mr. Trump wanted to kind of cause confusion in South Africa because of his manipulative way of communicating. And this was totally shameful. I think South Africa's example has embarrassed the United States of America. This is the same leader who refused his Secretary of State to attend the particular G20 in South Africa. He manipulated the way that he communicates with the leaders across the continent of Africa. It is shameful that you all still continue to look at Mr. Trump as a leader that you can replicate. It's disgraceful for the country of Gabon. The leader of Gabon has shown how very fragile he is as a president, very naive he is as a leader, very amateurish in terms of his international exposure. I wonder the conversation he's having with the European Union in regards to the fishery deals, if this is something that he can pull out. So there's one thing to talk, and there's one thing to match that with the particular geopolitical position. Donald Trump is not a leader that African countries can rely upon, because he's made stupid decisions that has affected a number of families across the continent of Africa. His decisions are that of a leader who does not understand the international community. And more importantly, I'm so embarrassed. I felt so cringe when he forced the country of South Sudan to accept immigrants from another country. This is the same man who basically, look at South Sudan, a country that is struggling, and you want to bring in another people from different countries to force their hands. And I saw South Sudanese leaders sat quiet. You were really disgraceful to keep quiet in front of this threat that the leader of the United States of America is putting in front of you. When do you expect that you have to stand up? These are the moments. And they are bringing people from Mexico, from Colombia to your country to deport them, and South Sudan you keep quiet. Your behavior is that of a beggar. And this is the problem in the international community. You make African look like a laughing stock because by not speaking out because of a simple visa to go to the United States of America, people are running out from the United States to look for other society, and you feeling that you can go there. This is the weak attitude of our leaders who feel they are always admiring foreign objects. They fail to see it from their own particular environment, that everything that they own is not good. The only things that from abroad are good. This is a weak mentality. South Sudan cannot handle this particular situation that the President of the United States of America has put them into. And in the recent meeting in the White House, he also forced Senegal, Mauritania, Gabon, and brought that conversation up that they should take deportees from the United States of America. What a shame. And you continue to praise Donald Trump and the shameful leader, the minimalist reasoning of the president of Gabon, who still particularly today will go down in history as the most disgraceful moment that an African president showed a global weakness. I can imagine that he brought up the idea of Africans taking deportees, and it's the same president who have banned travel for a number of countries across the continent of Africa, and he has cut off aid, he has cut off a lot of support across the region, and you continue to hail Trump as if he's a revolutionary leader. It's a leader you can copy from, it's a leader that you can learn something from. You got nothing to learn from Donald Trump. He's got nothing to offer you in this particular presidency so far. The deal in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, we're going to see what the implementation will look like. It's all about minerals. It's all about a transactional particular relationship. Donald Trump does not offer the continent of Africa any particular thing, and he owes you nothing. And you have to deal with the leader of the United States of America with a long leash. Every statement he makes, every communication he sends out, you got to take it with a pinch of salt, because he is not an example of a leader that you can walk alongside. It's not an example of a president that has a genuine concern with the continent of Africa like other previous leaders. Donald Trump came in and reminded the countries across the region that you got to sit up. So when you come and meet Donald Trump and you are panicking, you cannot communicate, you cannot even talk about simple issues, I find that laughable. I find that embarrassing, because if you look across the board, the African Growth and Opportunity Act is going away. Donald Trump pushed South Africa back and forth. The country of Egypt came under tremendous pressure. Lesotho, over 50% at the time regards to tariff, before coming back again to cut it off, and then talk about nobody knows where this country is. And then you go back to Liberia and embarrass Liberia publicly, a president of a nation, and then you move forward to talk about shithole nations, talking about peace in the country of Democratic Republic of the Congo and that of Rwanda, and you move forward and say South Africa is doing some bad things. You continue to downgrade an African nation, trying to manipulate them to put some kind of ideas in the hearts and minds of their citizens, and you call yourself a leader that can bring peace. This man is not your friend. Donald Trump is not a leader that can lead the continent of Africa from the geostrategic point of view, because he's got nothing to offer the continent of Europe so far. And the country of China is standing up the United States of America. And more importantly, Russia, whom he said he was going to put them on notice regards to tariff, they are not blinking. Why are you blinking? Why are you blinking, African president? Why do you embarrass yourself publicly? Why do you make your citizens look so foolish publicly? Why do you think this man has your own interest? The first 4 years, he proved to you guys who he actually was, but you never believed him. He came back and reminded you who he is. You never believed him. I agree with the president of Kenya, who said African leaders are disrespected. Do you believe that the way you are treated in the United States of America each time you travel and you meet Donald Trump, Do you think that's the way you'll be treated in your continent? What make you feel? What make you lose that particular power that you can come up, and he always treats you like boys, like young people, like people who don't have respect. And your presidents and your citizens are watching. Don't respect Donald Trump in regards to the geostrategic point of view. He's got nothing to offer you. He's got nothing to offer the continent. Treat him from a transactional point, but from your own win-win perspective. Trump is a leader that does not have the iota of respect in the continent of Africa, and you guys should not elevate him at that level. Europe is not doing that. Asian partners are not doing that. Middle East are not doing that. He said something in the morning, something else in the afternoon, something else in the evening. Look at what he said to Iran. He told them, I'm going to be thinking about something within 2 weeks, of which he knows what he was going to do. This is a man who thinks he can bring peace, and people say he's a peace crusader. Donald Trump is not a peace crusader. Look at the global community. Look at the global economy at the moment. Everywhere is full of tension as a result of Trump's attitude, the manner of communication, the engagement from the geostrategic point of view. He's put countries, companies, and businesses cannot project properly. They cannot talk about what's going to happen in the next couple of quarters. So we continue to see why African presidents should not give Donald Trump the platform that he needs, should not praise him. I saw a reporter in the United States who Trump called him my African reporter, was shamefully asking questions for African presidents to endorse Donald Trump for the Nobel Prize. I find that disgraceful. I find that laughable. I find that manipulative. I found that to be a situation where a leader is looking for other presidents across the board to basically, I think that's not how the Nobel Peace Prize works. And for the journalists who ask that questions, who has an African background, you are a disgrace. I think you are purely a disgrace, and you're being manipulated. I mean, that's what Donald Trump wants. The praises, he wants to see the media praising him. And this is the same leader who's saying that he wants to drain the swamp. But no, he's not. He is basically becoming tougher. And if you don't speak something relates to his own success and his own things that he wants to be, then you're not going to be telling the truth, because this is just the problem. So I was embarrassed when you're asking African presidents, because they are in the White House, if they're going to support Donald Trump for a Nobel Prize. I think that was the lowest point that the continent of Africa leaders found themselves. It will go down in history. This is the moment that Africa was reduced to zero, and these leaders went back to the continent with their tails between their legs. It's a disgraceful situation that I had never seen. No geopolitical analysts across the continent have found this. No journalists, no government officials, no consultant, no African expert expected this. But again, like I said, you continue to beat the drum of Mr. Trump. You continue to respect him. You continue to elevate him. How embarrassing are you people? The leaders of those countries, except the leader of Mauritania and the rest, who said, we're not going to do that because we have our own issue. Nigeria, one of the countries that have become so cozy with the United States of America, they also recently were put on notice. They came to realize that the United States of America under Donald Trump has no particular friend from the geostrategic point of view. And Nigeria has its own internal issues. Nigeria cannot deal with its own internal problem that it has. And Donald Trump is asking you to take more people from another region. I think then you're sitting quiet. I heard the Nigerian foreign minister came and said, we have enough of our own problems. And that's the way you should be speaking to Donald Trump, because he is not a conventional leader. We both seen leaders in the United States of America that have put the country of South Africa and African nations under pressure. You continue to shamefully engage the United States of America from the weak point of view. The president of the country of China would not treat African leaders the way that they're being treated in the United States of America. Xi Jinping wouldn't do that. Even the Vladimir Putin would not do that. Even the European Union, that you don't agree on a number of issues, will never treat African presidents the way they are being treated each time they meet the President of the United States of America. You are always from the begging point of view. You are always from the receiving end. You put yourself from the vulnerable aspect or vulnerable way based on his own perception of you. It's the same leader who called you names. It's the same leader who disrespected you over and over. It's the same leader who know that you are shithole region. It's the same leader who cut off aid. It's the same leader who has no iota of respect for a particular continent. Don't treat him as a president that you can do business together. Treat him the way he treats you. I want to thank you for watching. If you are joining us for the first time, I encourage you to smash the like button. Watch other geopolitical videos on our YouTube channel. We shall be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.